video, I'll walk you through exactly how you can take things in your own hands to get more leads, get more clients by using Instagram's most used and most overpowered feature. Drum roll please, it's actually Instagram DMs. Let me go through exactly this, but before we do, you're probably thinking, Plamen, why should I care? So let me give you a quick elevator pitch. Hi, my name is Plamen Slavov, and over the last 5 years, I've helped the world's biggest fitness businesses improve their sales and improve their marketing and really become huge names in the industry. Now, after all the lessons I've learned over the last 5 years, I'm here documenting and sharing my biggest lessons so you can grow your coaching business for free just by these videos. So if you're here thinking, you know, Plamen, I've tried Instagram DMs, but I just come across too salesy, too sleazy, people just end up ignoring me and it doesn't move forward, it's likely because you're doing two things wrong. You're either messaging the wrong people or you're messaging them the wrong things. And I'm going to run you through how to fix this using this 7-part DMs checklist and script. This exact script I'm going to share with you has sold well over £1 million in fitness programs just last year in 2023. So I'm going to run you through why it's so powerful, why every question in there is so powerful, how it works, and exactly how you can leverage it for your audience, for your tone of voice to really get the most out of it and get the best possible results. Let's dive into it. And before we do, here's the exact truth about why the traditional DM scripts you're probably using no longer work. Sure, they might have worked in the traditional old used sales car person that sells you cars and tries to push you into a decision. But now with this new age social media and the way people are, they want to build a personal connection. They want to really understand if you can help them. And there's so many options out there online. If they sniff you even a little bit that you're trying to sell them something they don't want or they need, they're just going to ignore you. They're going to unfollow you. They're going to block you. So it's super, super important. Any conversations, any scripts you have, they're very personal. They're very personal. They're actually building great relationships that you can move things forward. And I'm going to run you through exactly how to use that script to do exactly that. And there's 7 strategic steps that you need to use to really leverage that script and really move things forward. So let's dive into it. Here's a bird's eye view on the DM script and how every part of that flow will work. The first thing you want to do is actually open a conversation with people. You know, you want to actually message people. You want to have a conversation and see if you can help them. The second thing is you want to get that conversation hooked to fitness and your expertise, which is fitness. The third part of the conversation is to get clear on the person's goals. Their challenges is the fourth part. The fifth part is actually giving them a solution. Sixth part is actually booking them to a call. And then 7th is to follow up or sell on a call as well. And I'm going to run you through every part of that conversation, how it works and how you can move it forward to leverage DMs and really, really move things forward as well. So number 1, the opening DM. What message do you send and how do you open that conversation? See, first impressions are absolutely crucial. It's probably why at the moment watching this video, if you post any kind of content, you probably have people in your request folder trying to sell you something. Why is it that you're not responding to these type of people? A lot of the time it's because, you know, the message just comes across too desperate, like they're just trying to sell you something and they're trying to force you into something that you don't necessarily want. We want to avoid this when we're speaking to prospects on DMs. So there's a few things you want to do. You want to first, comes without saying, but you want to post high value content. You want to post content that's engaging, gets people liking, commenting, commenting, following the page, which there's another video. If you click somewhere around the video here, you can find a posting schedule to use to get that content engaging and working. But once you have that engaging content and working really well, you want to start having conversations with people. If you're a gym floor personal trainer, you know exactly how important actually having these conversations is on a gym floor. You want to do exactly the same thing when you're speaking to people on Instagram. You just want to acknowledge and thank people for being there. If they've taken the time to follow you, if they've taken the time to comment something on your post or like, you just want to drop them a quick message and just say, hey, John, thank you so much for doing what you've just done. Thank you so much for liking the content. Thank you so much for following. I really do appreciate it. And then the second thing you want to do from now is actually take a few seconds out of your day to click on their profile, see what that person is about, and actually comment on something on their page. If they're taking the time to post them going out for surfing, or they're posting dogs, anything they post on their profile pic on their profile is content and stuff they actually care about. So you just want to compliment, you want to start a conversation off the back of it. So if they're posting about their dog or they're posting about surfing, you want to see, hey John, thanks so much for the follow. I stalked your profile a little bit. I see that you're into surfing. And then ask them a question, something that's relatable, something that you can resonate with. You know, if you want to get into surfing, how long have you been doing that for? Like, would you recommend it? What's the hardest thing about surfing? What that allows you to do is have a personal conversation, and it sets the entire psychology of the conversation so much better, because the person on the other end is talking about something that they've shared, a hobby, something that they enjoy, something that they love doing. So it's just something that it's easy, it's natural for them to flow the conversation through and moves it forward, right? And from there, we'll go through the next part of actually how to like control that conversation from here and get back into fitness and get back into your area of expertise. But the first thing you want to do is actually open it, start talking about something that they enjoy doing, something they love, something on their profile. If they post it, it's going to be really powerful. If they're not following the page and you're doing more outreach from someone and they're not following the page, there's another way you can do this. So if you're trying to pull new eyes on the page and you really want to drive that forward, there's a few things to keep in mind. What you want to do is go through hashtags on Instagram, go through your like local gyms, local coffee shops, anything like that, and you want to go through and check the story, people following the page, commenting, engaging on that profile, people that look like a right fit for your audience. Again, you want to do a very similar messaging framework. You want to just drop a message, a story reaction, post. So for example, you can just react and comment on one of their posts. Just say, hey John, I see that you're into surfing. How long have you been doing that for? The reality is so little people take the time to do this. When that hypothetical John gets a message being asked if he's into surfing, how long he's been doing that for, a lot of time people will respond because they enjoy talking about stuff like that. So do a story reaction. Hey John, thank you so much. Like, hey John, I see you're into surfing. How are you doing that? How long have you been doing that for? If they haven't got any stories, here's another underrated glitch you can use, and that's to click on the airplane button on the stories and then share that post in their DMs and ask them a question. That gets a conversation in a private setting, gets them moving forward, and it's a really powerful way to have a conversation. Again, a very important framework you want to remember when it comes to opening conversations is acknowledge, compliment, ask a question. You can do that with anything. You can acknowledge them about their dog, their holidays, their surfing. Acknowledge, I see that you're into this. Compliment, that looks really cool. That's amazing you do this. That's the compliment. And then you want to leave it on a question. You can use this universally for any part of the conversation. The one thing you do want to avoid doing is just be weird about the conversation. You don't really want to be messaging people about their kids, anything that's too personal, a death in the family, anything they've posted that's too personal, you do want to avoid, because it's too much too quickly. Keep it lighthearted, keep it easy going, keep it as a coffee shop style setting. It'll move it forward a lot quicker, and you now have a really cool flow of a conversation to run through as well, which is going to be hugely important here. Now, part two of this is where a lot of coaches go wrong when it's hooking the conversation towards fitness. You can start a conversation really well, but sometimes coaches end up just talking about random stuff for too long, talking about the weather, politics, like vomit in your mouth if you're talking about politics in your conversations. You don't want to be doing that. You want to start a conversation, and then also ultimately you need to remember you are the expert in our conversation, so you need to get that conversation back in towards where you're the authority, you're the doctor, and you're trying to see if you can help them. One of the best ways you can do this is by using the following framework. You've started talking about a conversation about their hobbies, whatever's on their profile. From there, what you want to do is ask this question, and it's, hey John, does that keep you busy, out of curiosity? You know, if they're into surfing, if they've got a dog, whatever it might be, you can always use that question. Does that keep you busy? Most people, 95% of the time, that person on the other end is going to say, yeah, it does actually keep me very busy. Amazing, you've now gotten in. The next part of the conversation, the next thing you want to kind of frame the conversation and move it forward towards is, okay, amazing, how do you manage to make time for yourself? How do you manage to make time for your fitness, for your training? I would break that message into two. One might be, amazing, how do you manage to make time for yourself and your own time for yourself, they'll respond and say, you can then use hypothetical clients examples as well. These clients do not have to be real, they can just be hypothetical. Like you can just use a bit of an overview here as well. You can go, oh, like a lot of my clients say this about surfing. How do you find making time for your fitness, or how do you make time for your core strength around this? And whatever it might be, you can use clients, you can talk about clients in this part of the conversation just to get the conversation, get that moving forward. People love stories. So if you're talking about surfing, if you're talking about dogs, you can easily say, a lot of my clients say doing surfing is great for your core strengths. How do you find it? Like, do you do any core strength in the gym? Now they're talking about their gym program. They're talking if they go to the gym, what they focus on, their fitness goals. It's a very easy thing to do. Another thing you can do at this early part of the conversation is just break the ice and just say, you can probably tell from my page already, I'm kind of a bit of a fitness guy. I help loads of people do this. Are you working towards any fitness goals? This is a bit too direct, but it's just seeing what works in the conversation. And does that keep you busy? Question is really, really good for this part of the conversation. Get them replying to that. Once they say, yeah, it does keep me busy, you've got a very, very easy in to move that conversation forward in towards the next part of the framework here, which we'll go through next. Now, when it comes to actually getting these people talking about your area of genius, your expertise, which is fitness, you want to follow this kind of framework to make that happen. The first thing you want to do is just remember that for a lot of people, this is going to be a bit of a struggle, and this is something I see for a lot of coaches actually, is they just end up speaking to people in their DMs all the time about random stuff, about their dogs, about holidays, about skiing, whatever it might be. What you want to do is just remember that you are the kind of doctor and the hypothetical doctor in the situation. You want to take control of that conversation. An easy way you can do this, especially if the people on the page have come from you messaging them from cold outreach and not following you, what you want to do is this, and just ask them, okay, that's amazing. Does that keep you busy, John? The good thing about this question here is pretty much every person will say, yeah, I am busy. No one likes to feel lazy. No one likes to feel unmotivated. They're going to say, yeah, it does keep me busy being with my dog. It does keep me busy skiing, whatever it might be. From there, what you want to do is say, okay, from there, the next easy opt for the question is, how do you make time for yourself? What does you time look like? And then from there, people will tell you, they like to go wine and dine or whatever. They'll probably tell you about their nutrition and their training to some extent. From now on, you're into the next part of the conversation, which is the goal setting question, which we'll run through now. And it's literally just saying, and when it comes to the goal section of that conversation, all you want to do is say, okay, amazing, that's really, really cool that you're doing this amount of time in the gym. That's amazing you are trying to do this with your nutrition. So what are you looking to achieve out of it? And a really, really cool mindset to keep in mind with these conversations as well is just thinking of actually being curious at this point in the conversation. You just want to actually understand where people are at. You just want to be a bit like a kid, as if they're speaking to a kid in this part of the conversation. You just want to be genuinely curious to understand their lifestyle, understand their goals and what they want to achieve. So when it comes to asking about their goals, just say, what does that look like? What are you looking to achieve out of 2 times a week of training, or doing this, or tracking your nutrition, or following this diet? What are you looking to achieve, if you don't mind me asking? And just keeping it very soft, very light-hearted. And one thing you want to keep in mind with these kind of questions here, when it's asking about their goals and challenges, is you might get some people that are going to be very open from the start. They'll be like, dude, I really want to achieve this. I'm really, really struggling with this. They might be very open. Some people, more guys in particular, can end up being a little bit more closed off. They can just give you one word answers, or they might not give you too much. At that point on, before you move over to the next part of the script, it's totally okay for you to ask them to elaborate a little bit more, for you to see if you can actually help them. Again, easy questions here would be, what do you actually mean by that? How much weight do you want to lose? What are you looking to achieve? Asking what do you mean can really, really help and really move that forward as well. So if you're not using that as well, it can be a real game changer to get more information and really understand if you can actually help the person on the other end. Once you've covered this, the next part of this conversation would literally be just getting super clear on what their struggle is, what they're struggling with. Again, just asking, dude, so you want to achieve this goal? What are you struggling with? what's the biggest obstacle towards achieving that, getting super, super clear on that. It's going to mean that the conversation flows so much easier and it'll make everything move forward quicker. Again, once you have the goal and a struggle, you want to go through and just offer a bit of a bird's eye view solution on how they can solve it. So for example, if they want to lose this amount of weight, they're struggling with this, an easy thing you can do is just say, hey, like, for a lot of my clients, we actually implement this one thing that moves things forward. Implementing something similar, you want them to say no. They say, no, I haven't tried doing this and that to achieve my goal before. From there, you can go and offer the call, right? You can go, okay, that's cool. That's interesting. You haven't tried it. If you're down, I can book you in for a call and I can run you through a few ideas and exactly how you can implement that. They go, yeah, that sounds amazing. From that point on, you just give two options. Say, I can do this time on Thursday or Friday at this time, which is better for you. Here, again, giving people two options for the call is going to mean one thing. It's going to mean it's going to be so much easier for them to not think about, should I book the call, should I not? And it means that they can just jump on the call, get help and really move things forward as well. So those few things here will make a massive, massive difference to the level of calls you're booking and the amount of conversations you're having and the amount of people you can actually close with your calls and in your DMs and move people into calls as well, which is going to make a massive difference as well. When it comes to booking that consultation call, you do need to treat it as a bit of a sales call. Take their phone number down on a sales call, just go through a few things you would do to implement the change that you've talked about, and then go through exactly how you can do it. At the end of that process, once you've talked them through a few ideas, just say something along the lines of like, look, do you want to find out a little bit more about how we can help you achieve that one-to-one? Most people will say, yeah, of course I do. And then you go through and you talk about how your program works. You want to keep the overview of the program simple. You want to go through the simple steps, the simple things that they need to implement. And then from there on, it's just super easy to take their payment and move them forward into your program and get them amazing results as well. And to summarize this video, this exact script here has helped me and my clients close over £1 million in fitness programs. So it's super, super high value, super powerful. If you use this 7-part checklist to move people into calls and to close them. But the one thing you need to keep in mind is these are personal conversations. At times you will just need to mold the questions to be a little bit softer or a little bit more direct, depending on the personality on the other end, depending on the way they're at, depending on the way you are as well as a person. And it'll help you book more calls, close more calls, and get more clients as well. If you need any more one-to-one help with growing your business where you'd work directly with myself to make that happen, hit the link down below, book a call, we can have a bit of a chat, understand exactly where your business is at, and if we can help, I'll run you through the next steps. If we can't, no pressure whatsoever as well.